This is what the narcissist is doing when they are alone. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And I know this is a very popular topic on YouTube. There's a lot of people who just want to know, what is the narcissist doing when they're on their own? I'm going to give you 5 things that narcissists are doing. And honestly, it's not what many of you may think, because, well, it's not just what you think, it's what they make you think. They make you think that they are these fun, exciting, interesting people who always have something going on. And honestly, in reality, it's just not like that. They're very different to how you might think. And actually, there's only really 5 things that a narcissist is going to be doing in any moment. Narcissists are like insects. They're like ants. Or even if you have a pet, they could be like your cat or your dog. There's only so much that they can do, because really they are like limited. Because everything they do, it's really, they're operating from their trauma. Now, when a person is traumatized, their options are severely limited. There's only so many things that they can do, and it never goes deep. It's always just superficial. It's always on the surface. So it lacks anything deeper. It lacks curiosity. It's kind of like they're trapped in a maze, a mental maze, and they can't find their way out of it. If they could find their way out of it, they would experience freedom to decide, to choose, to experience things like we do at a very deep level. But they don't get to do that because of their trauma. And this is why the same thing happens to you when you get around them. All they can do is contain you, trap you. That's their only option. They cannot liberate you, free you. They're unable to do that because they are operating from trauma. And so this is how you know, I mean, since they do this to you, they have this effect on you, whether they want to or not, they can't control it. Even when they're manipulating you, love bombing you, you still feel trapped. You still feel confined, imprisoned. And they're operating in this way themselves all the time. So it's never that they're really doing anything fun or interesting when they're alone. They are imprisoned for life as a result of the trauma, because they just refuse to suck it up. They refuse to bite their tongue and deal with it. This is why so many of them are covert, and even the ones who aren't covert, they never want to open up about it. And so they stay that way because they refuse to confront it. And yeah, because of that, they are severely stunted. Their options are severely limited. It's like their vision is clouded, blurry. The same thing that happens to you when they put you into the narcissistic fog, the fear, obligation, and guilt. That's kind of like what they experience, only they don't feel obligated or guilty about anything. Their feelings are only for themselves. And it's all about how can they make themselves feel better. And that's just it. When you're operating from trauma, there's only a number of things that you can do. There's only a number of things that could make you feel better. So this is what they're having to deal with. But yeah, now let's get into the specific 5 things that narcissists do when they are alone. 1, you can be sure that if the narcissist is alone, they're not going to be happy about it. They're not going to be having fun. Being alone is a miserable experience for them. They hate themselves. They hate their own company. They feel depressed. They're unable to stimulate themselves, pacify themselves, soothe themselves. They lack the ability to do that. And this is the whole point of why they need narcissistic supply. They need a source of validation, someone who they can control like a puppet, someone who gives them a sense of superiority, as though they have the authority over that person. And it has to be that way. Otherwise, it's just not going to be a good experience for them. And so they're not going to be happy being alone. If they have discarded you, or if you have left them, you can be sure that yes, they do have someone else. In most cases, they have got another person. And not only that, one person could never be enough for them. I mean, just think about how much you had to do for them. It's like you were their parent, their personal caretaker, their ATM. You were doing everything and more. And they still weren't satisfied. You never got a thank you. They were never grateful. So of course they've got someone else on the side that entire time, or they're taking you for granted. The moment the narcissist starts to devalue you, take you for granted, they've already got someone else who they are idealizing, fantasizing about. They've got that person lined up, ready to replace you, so that they don't have to be alone. But in some cases, yes, they do end up alone. If it was a case where you were confronting them, you were threatening to expose them, and they had to get rid of you, or you just cut them off. Now, of course, they may not have been prepared for that. So they may end up being alone. But even then, these narcissists are very charming, very charismatic, master manipulators. They can pull the wool over anyone's eyes because, this is how they've had to live. So it's not going to be long until they replace you. They can replace you on the same day. It's nothing for them to do that. It will be difficult for you to replace them because you can't compete with someone. You can't compete with these manipulators. You just being authentic, you're no match for them. So it always is that way, where the narcissist has someone new and then you're left alone for months, even years, isolated. And it looks like they're so much happier, they're doing so good. Because we're real, not everyone is gonna like you. A lot of people like the narcissist because they're fake. They don't stand for anything. They're chameleons, shapeshifters. So yeah, they will be seeking new supply if they are alone. If they haven't had time to line someone up already. And it's to fill the emptiness that they feel, because all they have inside of themselves is a void. They feel inadequate. This is why they need another person. And whenever you see another person around them, They do not view that person as separate from themselves. That person is an extension of themselves. That person is being groomed just as you were. So it's coercive control. That new person lacks autonomy. They lack their own sense of self. They don't even know who they are if they're involved with the narcissist. Just as we didn't know who we were when we were around them. We have to forget who we are just to be around a narcissist. You can't have your own identity. They will not allow it. They always try and change you into something else. Or just complain, it's a problem, your independence. They get very jealous, very insecure. So it's all about domination and control. The second thing the narcissist may be doing when they're alone is stalking past sources of supply. So they may be secretly checking old supplies pages on social media. It could be on any platform. Are they just looking to see what are they doing? Have they moved on? Now, I'll tell you, many of them, they probably haven't moved on after what was done to them, because when a relationship ends with a narcissist, it's always the victim's fault. It's always the victim who is selfish, who was the problem. That's always the narrative, and they tell all of the flying monkeys, it's always the same thing. Never mind about how they were treating the victim, what they did to them. That's not important, but don't you dare ever cross them. It's their mindset. They can treat you however they choose to. They are the authority over you, but you must obey them. And so, because of that, many victims are likely blaming themselves. Still thinking that something is wrong with them. Still just waiting for answers, closure from the narcissist. It leaves an open door for the narcissist to come back. It's very easy for them, because they've left so many people in dissonance, confused, blaming themselves. Or even if they're not blaming themselves anymore, still the narcissist has an opportunity to come back and act like they are the hero, as though they've changed. So there's always an opportunity for them to return to past sources of supply. So you could be sure that yes, they will be plotting hoovers. And if they're not plotting hoovers, and yet they're seeing this stuff on social media, they're seeing people move on, they're not happy for any of them. They can't stand to see a past sources of supply happiness after they've escaped their control. They see it as though that's a threat to their superiority, to their importance. It threatens their ego. Because in their mind, if they're so great, you shouldn't be moving on. You shouldn't be doing better without them. And this is why they go around, they smear your name, they try to trash everything for you. And this is what they do with the past sources of supply. And if they see, they're moving on, things are getting better for them, they come back just to cause problems for them, just to prevent them from moving on. They want to make sure these past sources of supply, they're lost, they're confused, they got nothing, nobody, no money. They're driven crazy, homeless. That's how they want to leave it, because of their ego. And because, if they've been confronted on their behavior, or someone refused to submit, to be their doormat, to let the narcissist walk all over them, that causes a narcissistic injury. And once the narcissist holds a grudge, they become resentful, they never let it go. And they're going to keep coming back, they will never be satisfied. So that's another thing, they may hoover past sources of supply just to get revenge. And they may have gotten revenge many times before, but they will come back again. Just to push them back even more. They go back and forth, back and forth. One minute they're with someone, but even then, even when they're in the love bombing with a new supply, they're still looking back at the old supplies to compare, to have the contrast. They want to see that they're suffering. They do not want to see things getting better for them. And if they are, they will come back to destroy it. The third thing narcissists do when they're alone is feed their addictions. Narcissists have lots of addictions. One of their main addictions, and this is likely something that every narcissist is going to be addicted to, other than, of course, high-functioning sociopaths or psychopaths, the narcissist will be addicted to people. They are obsessed with people. Their attention, validation, admiration, reactions, having control over their minds, turning them into enablers, fly monkeys. And yet they make it about you because, you're isolated and you're left with no one, no support, no money, nothing. They make it about you, like you're so selfish. Oh, you need people. You need attention. That's them. They projected it onto you. That's why they've got to get everyone onto their side, and you're left alone with nothing. Hey everyone, sorry about that. No idea what happened there. I had to restart my phone. Got the connection back now. But yeah, the narcissist is completely delusional. They project their own insecurities, or they don't want to accept about themselves onto you. So they will take everything away from you, leave you with nothing, without any support, isolated. And then they will say that you are the one who is selfish. You are the one who is needy. You are the one who is attention seeking. When really that's them. Everything they do is just for attention. But you genuinely need support. You're just left with nothing, with no one. Well, as for them, they just play the victim. And they're not really the victim at all. And they're the ones who are constantly abusing you and then just discarding you. Or to the point where you had to get away. It is them who have the addiction to people. They are obsessed with people because that gives them supply. But they do have a bit of a problem because two narcissists cannot get supply from each other. And this is why, as I've talked about in past videos, you see this a lot now on social media. Narcissists, they don't have the privilege of being with empaths, codependents anymore. We are all awake to it. So we know what these people are trying to do. Instead, it's typically two narcissists together, as you can see on social media. It could be two coverts, two overts, one overt and one covert. But it's two narcissists. And then what they do is they go around and they target unsuspecting people, empaths or codependents, people who are unaware. And that's where they get the supply from flaunting this false image. And they work together. These predators work together to do this, to accomplish this. But yeah, when the narcissist is alone, they will be engaging in their addictions. And their number one addiction has to be people. They may also be numbing the void through alcohol. You may remember when you were with the narcissist, all they did was drink alcohol, smoke, anything just to numb their pain, just to make themselves feel better. Some narcissists may even be using recreational drugs. They may be engaging in excessive spending, excessive shopping, gambling, or other forms of escapism. So there's always some form of addiction that they're engaging in, especially if you see that they are alone. And typically when they're alone, I would assume that it's going to be more extreme. It's going to be even worse. So